Yeah, we just used to go to loads of gigs, and it'd often be like, you know, for example, like the first band we put out, Subways, like, you heard about them differently from how I heard about them.
We sat down and we were like planning over this first beer. We were like, okay, what is a label beat? It has to start with the music first. Who should we go for? And we were like, who's your favourite like live band you've seen? Because we, you know, I'd done Bloc Party and the Rakes on the label before, and Toby had like, he was good friends with Gordon Raphael by this stage, who produced The Strokes and Regina Spektor. So we'd like had some kind of experience things before, and we wanted to try and do things right from the start. And we were like, let's just find our favourite live band, because that's, you know, whoever it is this week that we both agree on this, and we both said the same band. It was the Subways, and they were like just at that stage, it was unbelievable. They were these tiny gigs, and they were really young. They were like 15 and 16, and like
we had to meet their parents to sign the contract, and they made us sandwiches.
Yeah, we had to go to Welwyn Garden City, and it was a strange experience. But
what, Welwyn Garden City?
Yeah.
I mean, that was weird.
It's a strange place, and they were just like, the fact that we both agreed on that, we were like, well, there must be something great about that, and you know, we signed it, and then John Peel played it like the week afterwards, and we were like, God, John Peel played their record, it's the best thing ever, and that was the highlight. And then from that, the next band we signed were called Lady Fuzz. They were
she was Kelly's flatmate.
Yeah, Kelly from Bloc Party was like flatmates with Liz, so we did them. And then the drummer, this is how it all just was. Like the drummer, then he became Essa and had like some solo success after that as well, and like we didn't carry on with them, but Amir, who was in Essa's band, he's now in Rudimental, and it's like, it's amazing, like to go from like Bloc Party to Rudimental in like 5 seconds, you wouldn't believe it, but it's like sort of talent attracts.
Maybe the point from that is that like if you really love something, you just work so hard, and then you form this network of like-minded people, and it just becomes its own culture, its own scene, and like, you know, you can just accidentally be part of that, you know. And I think we were lucky when we started. We got caught up in something that was happening naturally. And I think it's about to happen again as well. I feel like there's a real uprising of really exciting independent artists at the moment, and it's not necessarily genre based. It's more just to do with just great songs and great ideas. And it feels for a long time certainly people were just like a bit, I don't know, it felt like there was this big sort of like separation between big pop stars that were getting #1 records and great new talent, and it felt like there's no middle ground, but I feel like it's about to start growing again.
I'd say it's about how you behave as well, because like when, you know, we've done such a diverse range of records now, it always surprises me when artists want to be on the label. And like I remember, you know, when I was a kid, like honestly, like a few bands like saved me at school, and one of them was At the Drive-In, and I always thought like they're so hardcore. They're all like serious. Like they live in like, well, lived in like the roughest area, and they're like total DIY hardcore punks. I always thought they'd think we were maybe like too pop or whatever, and they got in contact with us about re-releasing Relationship of Command, which is like my favourite album. It's definitely my top 10. I was just like, something must be going right.
They emailed us through our website.
Yeah. They just emailed and they were like, look, we really like what you do. You know, we love what you've done with Foals. You know, it's really good and that works well. And like, I was like, holy shit, I've heard Foals. I called up Yanis. I'm like, At the Drive-In, I've heard your band. He's like, yo!
And you know what's amazing about this? Tim told me like, so is this a wind up? It was the same night I was in Australia, because I'd like been invited to do one of these kind of things in Australia, which is amazing. I thought, hey, free tickets to Australia, rad. And then that night I went to a club and Flume was playing, and then we signed Flume the same night as we signed At the Drive-In.
And they're like,
something brand new and total opposite music, but just like stuff that just, I guess, shows the spectrum of art.
I think the reason for that is like every artist knows that we don't try and change them in what we want them to be. We'll support what they want to do and respect that, and try and build on you know, things for them. And like what At the Drive-In wanted, they come out of a like really difficult. At the Drive-In had been screwed over by the major label machine, and were feeling like they wanted like a fresh start, and they wanted like a crazy deal basically that hardly anyone would offer them, because they knew what their music was worth, and they had ambitions for it, and they wanted to be heard and done in the right way. And we were like, well, that actually makes sense, and here's how we can make the numbers work. And it's still one of my favourite deals, because it was so transparent, and we just talked through all of it. And it's kind of like a partnership. It's like a total joint venture, and it worked really well. And we got to put out one of our favourite bands ever, and they got to make money from their music for the first time in a long while, which was really good. Then when it came to like the creative things, there, it's like we were like, we should do something different, and we wanted to do something like a bit controversial. It was actually Leela who we were with. It's her idea. Like, we all love like minimal techno, and we thought, wouldn't it be amazing to get the Field to remix and At the Drive-In song? And so At the Drive-In, if you don't know, like kind of like really like kind of hardcore messy punk, and the Field is kind of like ambient, krauty techno music. And they sort of took the parts of this song and made this amazing 12-inch, which was like this brilliant dirge that's almost unrecognisable. And putting that out, like the band loved it, we loved it, and it was really interesting seeing how the fan base reacted, because half of it kind of like totally loved it and we're like, this is total genius, and the other half were like, oh my god, you've desecrated the corpse of the greatest band ever. And we're like, amazing, we know we've done a great record because it's divisive. And I think that's like getting those like talking points and things across.
There's nothing worse than like putting something out and going ta-da, and then you just like meet complete silence.
Like if you get a terrible review or a brilliant review, that's normally a good thing. It's like when people are like, this is okay, then it's terrible.